Welcome back to the Hangar Bar, everyone. We are super glad to have you.
Welcome.
Welcome. We are in our second episode of 3 Star Wars episodes, our original trilogy of Star Wars episodes, as it were. Today, we are going to be talking all about Batuu and Galaxy's Edge.
With Disney's spin.
And Disney's spin. Well, we'll have to get into this. Does Batuu exist anywhere but Disney World?
Well, Disneyland.
And Disneyland. Like, is it just a theme park thing, or is it in canon somewhere? We'll get into that. That's not the question that I have. So my question for Candice and the same guest we had last time, Andy and Jackson, what's the weirdest or wow, you can tell I've been drinking. Bourbon. What's the weirdest or most disappointing thing you saw or experienced in Galaxy's Edge?
The morning Ronto wrap.
Ooh, that's a good one. I was super disappointed by that. Did you like the Ronto wrap, or did you not have it? I'm looking at Andy.
Is this a food?
Yeah, it's a food item.
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, I didn't know it was a song or a food. W wrap or R wrap. Okay. No.
So, no, the breakfast version is a sausage wrapped in egg with the peppercorn sauce and
Wasn't it a
cheese.
hot dog? Isn't there like a hot dog in the middle?
Well, it's a sausage, like a.
Okay,
it's basically a hot dog.
Okay, I thought it was more of a hot dog than sorry. Go
But before we went, I was like all hyped up about it because breakfast is one of my favorite things, and it just sounded delicious. And I don't know if it's because we got like the first couple of the day or what the problem was. The cheese was not melted, and it was just like, no, this was not worth $8 or $7 or whatever it was.
We had, leading up to our first experience with that, we had watched a lot of influencers that just raved about how good it was.
But they also rave about Gaston cinnamon rolls, so we should have known.
Which is trash. We should have known, yes. But we got there, and it was not good.
Huh.
Like, it could have... it would have been better had they thrown it into a microwave for a minute. And that's... Like, talking about Disney food, like, you don't normally talk about it having been thrown into a microwave for a minute. This would have been well served by spending a minute in a microwave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go next, and then we'll get to our guests. So mine involves one of our guests. Jackson saw Galaxy's Edge for the first time with us as a group, and some people have motion sickness issues on attractions, right?
Yes.
So we knew that the why did I just lose the
Millennium Falcon Smuggler's
Run? Thank you. Smuggler's Run would not be good for someone that has motion issues on attractions. But as the Star Wars fan that he is, he needed to see the inside of the Millennium Falcon. We get into like an hour-long wait just knowing that we are not going to get on the attraction at the end of it. We're going to take the chicken exit out. We make it to where I can peer down the little hall and see into the cockpit. You can see the chess table, you can see the doors, and all of a sudden cast members start yelling at us to turn down this other little hallway, and we have no idea what's going on. They're not like the ride's down, they're nothing. It's just turn left and walk as expediently as possible, and all of a sudden we're back out into Galaxy's Edge, and we did not get to see the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, which was so disappointing. And the cast members were playing the role of the First Order instead of the Resistance that should have been helping us figure out our way into the Millennium Falcon. So that's my biggest disappointment in Galaxy's Edge.
But you know what that means.
We need to go back.
That's
Yes.
right.
And I will wait in line with you to not get on that attraction, because that's my other hot take, is I never need to go on that attraction again unless I'm with a group of people that can get into Wookiee mode.
And there's a tutorial online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ask the cast members, like, hey, we're a group of 6 that want to get on this and we want it in Wookiee mode, they'll come in and do it for you.
Wookiee mode was actually my nickname in high school, just to let you guys know.
Okay.
Yub nub.
Yub nub.
Yep.
That was my nickname in high school.
Yub nub.
Yep, no.
Okay.
We'll cover that later, folks.
Okay.
I don't know what you're Scott. You know what? Waiting in line with you, it was better than 90% of any other waiting in line of any. Yeah. It was fun, man.
Yeah.
We had a good time. We had a good conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I know you were excited to have me see it, but yeah, hanging out with you was awesome.
Yeah,
So,
agreed. Agreed. Okay. Jackson.
Since I'm already talking,
Yes.
like I do, Candice had mine. That's what that's really because I have very little to complain about Galaxy's Edge. I had such a great time there, such a great experience, and that Ronto wrap it was not good. And it was one of those, like, we had a long day before, right? Wasn't it a long day beforehand? And I was so excited to be there. I think it was us three, wasn't it? It was us three hanging out, and we said, okay,
was Rachel with us?
No.
She may have. There was a fourth.
Was it Leia?
It may have been Leah.
Leo, but didn't she peel off?
But when we got the Ronto wrap, she was there. I
She
remember.
was there.
Yeah.
But
So it was
maybe
the four
she-
of us.
maybe
she
she
got
made-
something different.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't think she. But yes, but I 100% agree. I've dropped a bunch of those. 100% agree. Yeah, that the Ronto wrap was not good. It hurt my stomach. I'm not going to get into detail until the third episode. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, it was really, really bad. But yeah, I really have very few critiques of that place, and that the Ronto wrap was one.
Okay. Andy.
Mine also has to do with Smuggler's Run. So I went, just my son and I at the time, we're going to get in line. The rest of the whole crew that we were there with was going to go do other things. And they were like, yep, you boys enjoy your Star Wars thing. We really enjoyed everything to see while in line. Disney did fantastic at setting up that, hangar essentially.
Yep.
And it's very cool. My son, who is an uber super fan, as we're calling them, who can read a lot of the Arabic, the alphabet, he was reading things to me, and then at one point he goes, this one doesn't really make sense, I think, but he's looking at the starship right there, that you kind of walk around in line, and he goes,
It's a functioning alphabet?
Oh, yes. And he goes, it says no step instead of not a step. And I said, oh, no. And I got excited. I said, no step is a real thing used on a lot of aircraft. No step on parts that you're not supposed to step on. It grammatically, sure, maybe it doesn't make sense. But I said, so kudos to, the team that translated all these actual things into Arabic. So, yeah.
Disney in details, right?
Yeah, Disney in details.
Yes.
So,
Candace,
fantastic.
pointing at you.
But wait, this is the most. Remember what the question was.
But yes, so we were there for over 3 hours in line, and it was one of those where they put up the extra little, what do you call it, like concourse type thing that you're waiting in outside before you can get back, all the switchbacks, all the way, and then we finally got up there and we're waiting there, and they have the lightning lane, or fast pass, whatever you're familiar with the term, depending on when you went there last, and they're going in. They're supposed to allot so many per however many of us, peasants are standing in line. And so as they're counting them on, I just started,
Plebeians.
the plebes out there. So they started counting them, and so I started counting out loud, and I got to 14, 15, 16, and the Disney employee looked at me and goes, stop.
Cast member.
Or cast member, sorry, not employee. Cast member. You are correct, Candice. So Disney cast member told me to stop, and she looked very upset. And it was over 3 hours. I said, we've been waiting in line for over 3 hours. She goes, yep, and these people paid for this. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting into it with a cast member. So I shut my mouth, and we got on the ride, and the ride was super short. I felt like you kind of gypped out of the experience depending on who you're thrown into the cockpit with and whatnot. I feel like, if I had the opportunity to take Jackson there, for those that might not want to do the ride itself or might deal with motion sickness, because it is a jerky, bumpy ride, and it's fast, I would go into the single rider line, walk right up there, hop in, look at the cockpit, and roll out. And I think that would be the best way to do that.
Look and go.
Genius.
You just blew my mind. If we had gone through the single rider line, we would have seen the cockpit.
Wholeheartedly.
Damn it.
That just means we have to go back.
That means
Oh, no.
I am not quite to
Candice.
map level yet.
Dun 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 dun.
But since I also mentioned the word hangar, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity because the name of your podcast is Hanging at the Hangar Bar.
Right.
And Jock Lindsay, who owns the Hangar Bar, the pilot in Indiana Jones, had two planes that harken back to Star Wars, the Obi-Wan and the Obi-3CPO, the names of his planes in the Indiana Jones movies.
How
Get
did
outta
Theron
here.
not talk to us about that?
He probably doesn't know.
Boom.
He
That's
probably didn't
amazing.
get that deep
So
into it. That's amazing.
I don't know if you listen to a lot of our podcasts, but we had Theron Skis on, who was the guy that made the hangar bar in Disney Springs. Like, he redid the design of all of Disney Springs, and the hangar bar was one of his key projects. That's amazing. Like, he told us the whole lore. This is a good, like, go back and listen to that episode. We've released it as an original episode and then as a flashback episode as well, so you can find it in 2 different places. That episode is one of my favorites because of all the details he talks about just about Jock Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so there it is. The OB-CPO is his biplane from Indiana Jones, and then when he flies the DC-17 or whatever it is, not a plane guy, but it's Obi-Wan.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Okay.
Hey, we all learned something today.
We all learned something today. So, was all of what we just talked about something Disney magic, or is Galaxy's Edge just cosplay with a credit card reader?
No,
We're going to jump into that.
Okay.
Remember, this was the longest cold open ever, but I love it.
Okay.
Let's jump into the episode. Hey, welcome to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. I'm Scott.
And I'm Candice. We're here to chat all things Disney as child-free Disney adults. Stories, snacks, and a little magic along the way.
Grab a drink and get comfy and come hang out with us. Okay, let's just check in. Was Galaxy's Edge everything you wanted it to be or not?
And more.
And it was more. Tell us about that.
Stop stealing my stuff.
Get out of my head, Jackson.
Well, us redheads have a hive mind, so
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Go ahead. Candice, please go. Yeah.
I don't know really what I was expecting when going there. I mean, all I had really seen up to that point was a little concept art when they first announced it. And my history with Star Wars, which admittedly in this room is very limited. And the stuff, like when it did finally open, what we saw from influencers.
Right.
That's it. That's all the frame of reference I had. So when I actually got in and immersed myself in that, it is so well done that you can't see any of the other lands around. Also, with the ambient noises that they pipe in, I found myself looking up in the sky for a spaceship to fly across because I'm like, where is it? I want to look at it. But it's not there because, hello.
It's in space.
Yeah, well, but you shouldn't hear it. There's no sound in space. But yes, it exceeded my expectations 120%.
Excellent.
I thought it was fantastic. And again, like I said in our first episode, it has made me appreciate the franchise that much more.
That's awesome.
Same.
First impression.
And again, I have this question was actually given to us beforehand. I had some notes, and I will show everybody if anyone's interested. Candice actually said things on my list, specifically the horizon and the noise. When you look, you can't see anything that's not Star Wars the entire time. And there's an ambient noise behind you of droids, like machinery. It's very industrial because you're in an industrial place in this land. And there's just this, it immerses you where like everything, and it has all of your senses involved. I'm convinced even the smells, really. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was exceeded my expectation. I don't know if this has actually been brought up in the podcast before, but there was a point, fairly certain Scott has it on his phone, where Chewbacca walks by, and I went running like a kid. I was like, there's Chewbacca! And I went running, which, if anyone knows me, I'm not a runner. And I went running after him to see him because he was a little far away, and yeah, I went to go run and see him. But yeah, it was fantastic. There was I have zero critiques. I thought I had such a great time. Again, this was like day 3?
I think it was day 3 of our trip. Yeah.
So we had our first day was an epic day at Disney.
17 hours, epic.
It's set, yeah. miles and miles of walking. Fantastic day. But day 3, when we went down there, we were dragging a little bit, and man, it just woke me up, and it was a magical thing, especially to be with a great partner and her family and great friends with the Minkses. So yeah.
Well, and Jackson, I will say, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but part of my favorite part of any Disney vacation is if I can be there with somebody that's never been there before, and seeing you get that excited about Galaxy's Edge, not only with the Chewbacca piece, but also in the AT-AT room.
I don't know what you're talking about.
On Rise of the Resistance.
You guys have never said anything about
That
it.
is something I will remember for the rest of my life.
Same.
As like solid gold.
Okay, so you have to tell that story again for people that maybe haven't heard it before.
No,
Okay.
let's not.
So
Andy still thinks I'm kind of cool.
he's very cool, and Andy will appreciate this.
No,
So
Andy will get it.
We get on Rise of the Resistance. We go through the whole being questioned by the First Order and all these other things, and get loaded into the ride vehicles, and we roll into the AT-AT room, and I look across the car, and Jackson, his eyes are about the size of dinner plates.
Yes.
And he starts clapping his hands and giggling like a 5-year-old, and it was so adorable and so genuine.
Like, not very often do you see someone like Disney has a way to do this, but not very often do you get to witness somebody going from being whatever age they are back to being 5 years old.
Yeah.
And we got to witness that, and that is the power of Disney.
In an instant. Like
Yeah.
it really was. And like how they do it, where that you come into the room and you don't like you're not
You don't
think you're
expect
gonna,
it.
Yeah,
No.
you think, okay, I'm gonna go into a room and see an animatronic, whatever. And there's
There's gonna be a
full-size AT-AT,
screen of
Yes.
AT-ATs in the distance,
which will be cool, which would be great.
Right.
But a real life like
right.
and I wanted to clap like a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Like a man who can like bench
manly
press
clap. Yeah.
250
Like a-
pounds.
Bench press the AT-AT.
Yes.
Right. Ooh.
Okay,
And-
so that
Yes.
caused a question. Is it AT-AT or is it AT-AT? And what
I've
does it
always said
stand for
AT-AT.
if it's AT-AT?
It stands for all-terrain armored transport.
Well, there it is.
The soldier in me uses acronyms. If you want to call it an AT-AT, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Is
Right.
anyone turned on right now?
Not opposed. I didn't
but
clap, but when my son goes, "Dad, are you crying?" No.
No, somebody's cutting onions in here, damn it.
Allergies.
I do. If we're doing that, if we're admitting stuff after episode 9, I came home, walked into my kitchen, and shed a tear because it was like
it was bad, or it
I
was the
said
end of the.
they've ruined Star Wars. No, no, because it felt like an end to an era.
end, yes.
But yeah. So,
Yeah.
but going back to the AT, whatever you tell me,
AT-AT,
and you
yeah.
tell me. No, but that really was. Yeah, it was. It was,
It was
pretty
such a
fantastic.
genuine moment. I
Yeah,
loved
and
it.
I'm glad I got to. I'm glad the Minks got to see it. I'm glad I was there with them, and that I wish my partner had not been there.
Save some face a little bit.
I love you, Val. She already thought I was a weenie. But yeah, it was great trip, great whatever. So
Okay, Andy.
Yeah, I concur with everything you guys have said. I didn't really know a whole lot about what I was going to be walking into until you kind of go through that cavern.
Right.
The moment you kind of go through that, everything else as you walk through any of the parks, really, you just kind of gradually go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. And it's not throwing shade on any of them. It is what it is. But here you walk through this kind of cavern, and then all of a sudden you're in Black Spire Outpost, on Batuu. And like you guys said, you can't see anything else. All the smells are right there. You see the droid cooking the things. You want a drink, you go over to the droid pushing the Coca-Cola cart, Are there things that we'll talk about? Probably. That I would change or add to.
Right.
But for what it was, and walking into a fully submersive world that I'd never had as a kid growing up and never experienced as an adult quite like this, phenomenal. And then we did, we were there for a period of time, and we were able to do the Rise of the Resistance twice you know, and I just talked to a friend who was there like a couple weeks before us. We did it twice. Neither outcome was the same. His outcome was different than ours. So I don't know how many outcomes there are for this, but they're all different. What you go through and what you experience.
I actually didn't know that. So there's different outcomes?
Yep. Some you experience
do you guys
Kylo
know
Ren.
that?
Sometimes you experience Kylo Ren cutting his way through the ceiling. Sometimes you don't experience Kylo Ren, but you see him in
we
his...
saw that he cut through the ceiling.
He did.
Okay. Other times he shows up in his TIE fighter and blasts into you, and you... Yeah, there's all different things. So you guys have to do the ride again because it's different. We got in the same line, and we got put in the same room, and we're like...
Book it.
Yeah, okay.
How would she book it?
Ming's Cruise and Travel.
There it is.
I'm going to plug that later, too.
So,
Thanks, Jackson.
you know, while like we went on a second time, and again, part of that, going back to the question, was it everything you wanted it to be? Everything in the land was, but then even just in the line, you know, you're going through this Resistance underground base, you know, and you're seeing all the screens, you're seeing all the lockers with full flight equipment for all the different fight starfighters, and the weapons racks and all those things, and it's just a fully immersive experience while in line. And then you get into the ride, and again, the AT-AT, when you fly into there, and you're like, holy cow! And then you're zipping all over the Mon Calamarian that's flying the ship up out of there, you know, that turns around and talks to you. Like, it's overwhelming, and it's amazing. Right. So, very cool. Yeah, it's everything you hope for as a kid.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So nothing you would change.
Let's get into that. Let me pivot just a second. So you're talking about the queue line and that kind of thing. One of my biggest disappointments in our most recent trip, so December of 2023, right? 24. I went on kind of a solo day and went into Galaxy's Edge. And I was going to do the brand new to Disney Galaxy's Edge single rider line for Rise of the Resistance. Disney trying to cater to fans that want to get through line too fast ruined that experience. Like, you go through part of the queue, they take you down this little place that looks themed really well. You're in the mountains, you're in the hills, the rocks, all of that. And then you open a door and you're in a backstage area. And you go through a hallway and they open another door and then you're there with the stormtroopers.
Wow.
Just like completely take you out of the immersion. And that's like, in that moment I said, I will never do the single rider of this attraction again. And the same thing happened when we did Smuggler's Run. The single rider for Smuggler's Run is horrible. It's just a back hallway stairwell that empties you into like, to show someone, now that you've seen the rest of the queue, now to show you the cockpit of the Falcon,
right?
I would take you up that way. But that is not how I would ever suggest anybody experience that attraction the first time.
And part of that, I think, and I'm going to throw all the shade here I can, is to influencers who want to run to the ride, get their selfies and everything of them getting on the ride and them experiencing the ride. Because that's one of the most recent lands to be built with that single rider thing. None of the others, from what I've experienced, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, are quite like that.
Right.
And this one seems hurried.
Right.
Like, all you want to do is get there and get to the ride. So we don't care. And
If you get-
probably don't care
if you're
about seeing anything
unimmersed.
else.
Right.
You're not a Star Wars fan. You're carrying a lightsaber to throw on your social media, whatever,
Right.
and you run to the end of the ride, which is super disheartening.
Yeah.
Well, and we've talked about that before on the podcast, is that if guests' sole purpose is to go from attraction to attraction to attraction to attraction to attraction, mark as many boxes as they can and not care about the details and the story and all of that kind of stuff, there's got to be some give and take somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think those single rider lines, because it's in demand, are Disney's answer to that. It's like, okay, if you want to pull yourself out of the story and you don't give a rat's butt about this, fine.
Right.
Come
Well, I
down this
wonder if
hallway
someone
and we will
that's
throw you
not
on the attraction and
Nope.
yeah.
But I wonder if someone like who's not Scott, who wants to be in that immersed.
Right, but doesn't want to spend 2 hours in line to be immersed.
They, like
Right.
you just said, Candice, I bet they won't care.
So buy the fancy ride.
Right. Disney
Guess
parting
so.
people with their money. They've been doing it since 1955.
Oh, Far before that, thank you.
Disney parks since 1955.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, so
Okay.
Andy, did you have the Bronto wrap?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about what else. Like, one of the questions that I have down is Batuu the right story to tell? Or do we think it would have been better off making it Tatooine? Or what would we change about Galaxy's Edge?
Well, we actually just okay. So when again, I got this itinerary, and I saw Batuu, and I know a little bit about Star Wars. I'm not saying I'm not like a name guy. Like, I don't remember like everybody's whatever. I'm like this character. I'm like, oh yeah, guy who has a butt on his face. That you guys know. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. Andy, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But like, I bet you know his name too. Like, I don't know his name. So Batuu is what I'm getting at. You guys put that in like the itinerary, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna Google that. But I think that's Disney specific, right?
It is.
Okay, so
It's a new land that was created for the parks.
the question is, the story from Batuu, is that
Like, everything Disney does is telling a story. Okay. So there is a backstory to everything that you see in Batuu.
okay?
Like, I don't know the canon of Batuu all that well, but it's an outpost. It's just they wanted a place that wasn't tied to. I think they did it on purpose.
Of course they did.
That if they were to say what's the town where they pick up Han in Episode 4?
Gotcha.
Like,
okay.
whatever town that is. If they would have said, "Hey, let's build that," all of a sudden those of us with eagle eyes are going to be like, "That's not part of that story."
Yeah.
And I think
they'd be
that's
like-
exactly
yeah.
why they did it.
So
I
they
think
created something
There's no
new.
sin. Yeah, and then push up their glass. Yeah.
that's exactly it, though.
Right.
I think that's why they did it, is
No,
because if they
it's
would have
smart.
tried to replicate Tatooine or Endor or wherever,
It would never
Alderaan, of
live
course
up.
not. But I think if they would
Yeah.
have tried to duplicate anything from the original 3
Yes.
movies, superfans would have torn them apart.
Yes.
Be like, that's wrong, that's not right. You got that should be 6 inches longer. That's what she said. But anyway,
6 inches, Candice.
your 6 inches is different. But anyway, I think they had to. I think
Yeah.
it was the right move.
Yeah, and they, when they created this Black Spire outpost, they wrapped it into, video game mentioning and whatnot, and then in Solo, L3, one of the droids that then becomes part of the Millennium Falcon, within Solo, they mentioned Black Spire outpost. And so, they kind of, I don't want to say they retconned anything, but they kind of made it their own canon. It's there. It's in the galaxy. We're going to mention it a few times, enough that it's now part of the galaxy.
Right. Yeah. So anything that you would change?
I am really still kind of hung up on this First Order thing. Disney gave us 7, 8, 9, and they want everything to be New Order, and they're 7, 8, 9. Well, Disney owns all of what was formerly known as Lucasfilms.
Right.
They have full reign. And all the people spending money there at Disney
Want to see Luke.
want to see Luke.
Leia.
They want to see stormtroopers, not First Order stormtroopers. They want to see stormtroopers. They want to
Right.
see.
Do you feel like they're kind of trying to shoehorn 7, 8, 9 down our throats? Kind
Yes.
of.
They're
And
giving
they
us
should
the-
include like the
Right,
rest
if-
of them
if
in there.
They want Black Spire, cool. We have Black Spire. It's built. Would I change some things? Sure. Make another level on there or something.
Right.
I mean, it's super cool. I love shopping in the little areas off to the side, the cantina, the gift shops, the rides, all the stationary stuff there to take pictures in front of. Super cool.
Absolutely.
However, again, the people spending money there did not grow up with these New Order things and Rey and whatever else. If you threw in old stormtroopers that we all grew up with, those span from before Episode 4 all the way past Episode 6, as we've seen.
Right.
You're talking decades that
Right.
they could wrap up stuff in there, and
You can
all
have
these guest
Rey, but
appearances.
also have other characters.
Right,
Right.
or
Like
get
we
rid
don't
of
just
Rey.
have to have.
Trade Rey for 20 other characters that people know.
But are they trying to stick to one time frame?
I
think that's my argument for
They
that.
don't want
I
to
think
confuse people.
it's not like, we can't have this from this time frame, this from this time, right?
Sure.
Or like you can't be all things to all people, right?
But- right.
That's what I'm
and
assuming.
I would think it's easier for Disney than to get the girl that can speak with a perfect English accent or get an English lady to play Rey that looks enough like Rey and get the triple bun thing going. They throw people in old stormtrooper costumes. They throw somebody in a Chewbacca costume or other Wookiee stuff. One of the things that I would easily throw in if I had the magic wand and could change Black Spire Outpost, I'd have little people need jobs. They need employment. You throw a whole bunch of Jawas out there peddling all their crap, you wouldn't have to have them speak English. They're doing all the little lines in Jawaese or whatever it is, and they're peddling stuff, Utini, and they're selling you stuff, right? And they're the ones pushing all the markets and the little shops. That'd be perfect.
Uncle Owen, the red one has a bad converter. Yeah.
Bingo. So you could easily throw out all these costumes. Any one of the cast members can, throw these on, and it'd be so much easier.
Well, not everyone can throw out that bikini.
Right. I mean, I've submitted my resume. Right. Yeah, I just think it'd be easier if they covered an older period that covered a lot more time and a lot more stories.
Right.
Because you don't see much being produced anymore in 7, 8, and 9 era.
Right.
Everything Andor, Mandalorian, everything is pre 7, 8, and 9.
Right.
They know that that's not selling, but yet they're going to have Black Spire.
They're going to have Rey and Kylo Ren show up because they're the most well-known right now.
Right. The most well-known.
But
are they,
and
though?
associated
But
with
missing the
they?
opportunity to bring Darth Vader in.
most
Yeah.
associated with Disney.
I would
Right.
Yes. But again, Disney owns Darth Vader now.
Right.
So, like,
right.
why not bring one of the most epic bad guys that's ever been in the history?
Right. I'm going to say something that's
A
probably going
film.
to cause confusion for those that don't know Andy, but if we need to explain it, we can. Would Finn appreciate more seeing Kylo Ren or Darth Vader?
Darth Vader, wholeheartedly. And frame of reference, Finn is 15. Even my daughter, though, being 9 years old, she would also know Darth Vader and a lot of those classic Star Wars characters than Kylo Ren. She knows who Rey is. That's about
Right,
it.
because Disney shoved her down as basically another princess.
Yes. Yep. For sure.
But she's not.
But you could have a whole lot of other, Star
She's a
Wars characters.
Skywalker.
She's not a princess, though.
No, yeah, I actually, Candice, I know you were kind of joking, but yep. Give
She's
us
not
that
a
point.
princess.
She's not. Tell us why.
Luke
I did the Scott
Skywalker
line.
is
Tell
not-
us why I did the Scott line.
Luke Skywalker was not a king.
Is that the only reason she's not a princess?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
She's princess adjacent.
That doesn't make her a princess.
She's a granddaughter
Just
of an emperor.
like
I don't know who.
Ooh,
I
that
don't know
is
who
true. She
adjacent
is the granddaughter of an emperor.
Emperor Palpatine. That's his granddaughter.
still. No. Just
Don't
like,
bring facts to this conversation.
just like queen consort does not make you a queen.
This could devolve into fist fighting pretty soon.
I can't wait. That's what I signed up for. Yeah. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, so she's the granddaughter of Palpatine. Whatever. She is still not a princess.
Which again, we have Disney
I would-
to thank for that.
I would like turn that back. That's one of the things that's one of the most cringy Star Wars. Like, why did we have to do that?
Right.
Why did we have to make her?
I want to know why
Yeah.
Palpatine came back. Like, didn't he die like 7 times?
Not only did he die multiple, at least the one time he exploded after Vader threw him down, right? So, and he dies by the Force lightning explosion that there is. What's harder to grasp is not only that he survived, but then that he had a family.
Right.
because
He
ew.
procreated with somebody. And
That's
then
gross.
they had a child.
Well,
and
Vader
so he
Vader
has-
didn't procreate, or his mom didn't procreate. Like Vader, the midichlorians. Ugh.
Right. So,
Again, we're
and
going
for
down.
those that were upset with Acolyte, can I go on a tangent here real quick,
Yeah.
Scott? Acolyte, right? So that's one of those series that no one ever talks about because it was kind of booed down.
It could have been so good.
Right, and the Witches of Dathomir, all female, they manipulate the midichlorians in order to have a baby. That I can get behind because again, now we're talking midichlorians or science. They can manipulate it. The thing with Shmi becoming pregnant by the Force is because no one manipulated the Force. The
Right.
Force itself became a physical manifestation there and somehow impregnated Shmi, who then begat Anakin. So that, I mean, this is super random, but I know there's a lot of hatred on the internet for how they can manipulate the Force and have a baby, and then that takes away from Anakin being the chosen one if you can just get pregnant by the Force. There's a difference, though, between the witches willingly doing that and changing things
Right.
and doing all these seances with the Force versus the Force itself doing that with Shmi.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
But can we get back to the whole procreation with Palpatine? Because seriously.
Right. We're
Gross.
talking about Batuu. I don't want to see that in Batuu. That's
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Disney is not that kind of a theme park.
Maybe that's an after-hours option.
All right. Quick pause from your broadcast out of Batuu. So here's what happened. At some point during our conversation, I got distracted. It might have been the fuzzy tauntaun kicking in. It might have been DJ Rex absolutely slaying a remix of Cantina Classics. Or maybe I was just lost in thought about Jackson never getting to sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. Either way, I forgot to start the recording. When we finally noticed, we fired the mics back up and tried to retrace our steps like a couple of Jawa scavengers. So yeah, you're going to hear us revisit a few things we'd already covered, but trust me, the second round is just as good with some fresh takes, bonus laughs, and slightly less numb lips. So if it feels familiar, it is. But like any good drink at Oga's, the second round might hit even better. Okay, so bringing us back into Galaxy's Edge and Batuu, do we think that this timeline, this area was the right creative choice by Disney for their theme park? So, or would they have been better off choosing something like Endor or Tatooine or something like that?
I think it was the right decision because I think if they would have had to or tried to recreate any of the previous worlds from the movies that we all grew up with, super fans would have been, you got that wrong. That doesn't belong there. That doesn't look exactly like it did in the movie or as I have it pictured in my head.
Right.
This, that, or the other thing. So I think they did the best they could with it.
So, but why did they pick the timeline that they did?
Recognizability, relatability with the fans now.
Okay, and I'm just going to...
IP.
You think it's the IP?
Disney.
Uh-huh.
They're trying to like this. Please like this.
Right. So I'm gonna give our fans a little insight into our recording process. I completely forgot to hit record after we took a quick bathroom break in the middle of this episode. And one of the things that I asked Andy that I'm going to ask again because I think it's a valid question. You have a 15-year-old that is a Star Wars fan, and then you had also talked about your 9-year-old. Who is the more recognizable character? Who would they more want to meet in the parks? Darth Vader or Kylo Ren?
Sure, Darth Vader, 100%.
Princess
why.
Leia or Rey?
Princess Leia.
Tell us why.
And I think, kind of touch on all this, I think, Disney's really trying to push that whole 7, 8, and 9, like our characters, like our Rey, like our, First Order. But again, that's a very small piece of the Star Wars galaxy, and truth be told, it's the most minor spoken or told story within the Star Wars galaxy.
Right.
And so we have stuff from the Old Republic all the way up through, the Galactic Empire. You could have picked a whole range of hundreds of years. But again, Star Wars, to the vast majority of people that just know Star Wars, whether they be a super fan or just are familiar with Star Wars, they're familiar with Darth Vader. They're familiar with stormtroopers, not First Order stormtroopers, the original stormtroopers, that we saw air in 77. And I think that's the Star Wars that people know and expect and either fell in love with or at least are familiar with. I think this is a very niche group here within Star Wars to push 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, and I think we were talking a little bit earlier about disappointments in Galaxy's Edge, and I think that's some of my disappointment with what they have is that we don't see the original stormtroopers. We see the New Order stormtroopers. We don't see the characters that everybody fell in love with the canon about, right? So
Right.
Luke, Leia, Jabba, all of those
all
characters see you don't even see C-3PO walking around.
No.
And he was a part of 7,
But
8,
Chewie's
9.
there for some reason.
Right.
You know, and we get these witty
Right?
first order stormtroopers that are occasionally kind of harass, the guest, which is great. But again, I think if you walk through that cavern that takes you into Black Spire and you're suddenly teleported into the Star Wars universe, had they had a couple sand troopers standing there doing their little checkpoint
Right.
and talking to people, asking what's in their stroller, asking what's in their backpacks, whatever, and really, I think that would help propel you into Star Wars, and that's what people want.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there's Kylo Ren up on his ship, and it's cool. Disney magic is still Disney magic, but
Yeah.
again, it's not the Star Wars
Right.
magic that we all want.
Right. Yeah, 100% agree. So with all that in mind, do you think that when you're in Galaxy's Edge, do you feel like you're in a theme park, or do you feel like you're part of the Star Wars universe?
I think they do a really good job at keeping the rest of Disney kind of. I think you're insulated from Disney. I don't want to say you're isolated, but you're insulated from the rest of the parks. And I think they do a very good job at making you feel like you're in Black Spire Outpost. I think what you asked me is two different questions, though. I don't feel Black Spire Outpost is really part of Star Wars. Per
Okay.
se.
That's an
So
interesting take.
I feel
Really?
that
Yeah.
you're in Black Spire Outpost, and then from there we can discuss that.
And
Jackson, go ahead.
how much of that is the Disneyfied version of Star
Sure.
Wars? Because if it was truly an outpost, you would have bounty hunters and you would have things
100%.
with violence and that kind of thing.
Yep.
That would not necessarily be family friendly.
For sure. And, I think they could easily make it more family friendly if they increased and they had a lot more of the 501st, or the 501st, the 501st, kudos to you guys for raising all the money out there for all the charities that you guys benefit. The First Order stormtroopers out there, if they had a lot more of those patrols walking around, I think that would make sense to have a very orderly, family-friendly environment because you have so much stormtrooper security going on. Or you have a couple here and there, but then you also have a bunch of other cast members that are in various scummy outfits or bounty hunter outfits or pilot outfits running from A to B, so they don't have to intermingle with the guest, but they could be running in their pilot outfits somewhere. More droids presence. I don't know. It feels like you go into Black Spire and again you're around a whole bunch of families with strollers.
Right.
And occasionally there's some stormtroopers that are heckling people and all in a family fun way.
Right.
I think they either need to increase the stormtrooper presence or have other things there.
Or get rid of the strollers.
Or,
Sure, yes.
Or put more
100%.
stormtroopers in real life. So, like when you're in Target, when people are in strollers, then there's stormtroopers around to harass. Yeah.
Well, we're
Same.
probably getting pretty close to that, but that's a
Let's
different
not,
discussion
shall
for a
we?
different day.
Fantastic. I love it.
I had a thought and I just lost it. Damn it.
Bourbon will do that.
It will.
Or tequila.
Yeah, bourbon followed by tequila will do that. Okay. So let's jump to, if you could change or add one thing to Galaxy's Edge, be it an attraction or a bar or a restaurant or a different character, what would it be and why? Candice, I'm going to look to you because, again, I'm admitting fault that I forgot to hit the record button, and you had a really great idea that I want you to bring up again.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to say my first thing that I said, which is Endor,
Okay.
because I think a character experience with the Ewoks would be incredible. But
And how they could sell so many plushes
absolutely they
of
could.
Ewoks. Like, you can't go to Galaxy's Edge and buy an Ewok.
And again, I have thrown this out there already a couple times, but a push out there for all those listening, for little people in the world, and they need employment. And George Lucas has done a fantastic job at finding ways to employ hundreds of little people, and Disney could easily jump on that. Earlier I mentioned having Jawas running around Black Spire. How easy would that be? 7 days a week.
Yep.
For all hours, but then also the Ewoks. If you had an indoor thing, now you're talking Ewoks and Jawas, and this is going to sound super rude, possibly, but I mean it with the greatest love of little people. but for all the people that are not, when you're immersed in an area where there's a lot of living beings that are clothed in other costumes and whatnot, that are, like Chewbacca, who's towering over you, and the Jawas and Ewoks that are not, it makes you feel like you're not of this earth.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
So it's
The
more
immersion.
immersive.
The immersion.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
Redhead connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hive mind.
Okay, so you
the
said
other
indoor.
thing that I was saying, yes, is, and I will give Andy credit where credit is due because he kind of started the ball rolling with this concept. But a restaurant, be it subterranean or wherever it may be, to facilitate using some of the different levels that so many of the other lands do,
They should have both.
they should have both.
Yeah.
But I think a restaurant or a dining experience, because that's actually what it would be. It wouldn't just be a restaurant because, of course, you would need reservations, and it would be a multi-hour situation. But a transport to Cloud City to have a banquet with Lando and Han and Leia and whoever else wanted to come to the party, whatever. But have very specific foods, very specific cocktails and drinks, that kind of thing. And they could do the whole screen business for the... atmosphere?
Yes.
Okay, that.
Yeah.
For the clouds, like
Yeah. We went off again. My apologies to our audience. I'm going to keep beating myself up over this, but we had a great we were talking a lot about what that experience could look like, and
I was force feeding Scott drinks.
Yeah.
just so you know, that was my fault.
So, like, you could have two different experiences
Yes.
when you go to Cloud City. You get
Yes.
on the transport, you go up into space. They've proven they can do it with Space 220 and Epcot.
Oh, you're talking about spas.
Jackson.
Sorry, Candice.
But they've proven they can put you on a transport and take you somewhere else into space. So take you to Cloud City, right into the story that you're also going back in time. Whatever. To get you into a different time to introduce different characters. But one dining experience could be you're just on Cloud City. You see the different pods out the windows or whatever. You pay an extra $100, $200, $500 to get into the conference room and have your dinner, and halfway through it, you're interrupted by Darth Vader.
Yes.
Sign me up.
I would
Name your price.
again name your price. Like
Right. Scott, am I wrong about this?
no, like
It's
think
like-
about how much they charged for the Galaxies or the Star Wars hotel. We were
Galactic
talking
Star
about that.
Cruiser?
Yeah. We were talking a little bit that you all didn't get to hear about that as well, of how that was probably overpriced. But you tell me you're going to charge me $1,000 for 12 people to have a 2-hour dining experience
I'll take two.
in the conference room where Darth Vader interrupts you in Cloud City. I'm going to do that every time I go.
If I get to shoot him and he blocks it with his hand,
See, exactly.
charge me triple.
Right.
Well, and
I'm
you
not-
know,
yeah.
for those, like again, it would be too easy because you wouldn't have to find lookalikes that look like Harrison Ford and all these things that they try to do and they struggle with Rey's and all the actual human characters. Because
Darth
if
Vader-
if you're supposed to have a dining experience with Han, great. You're going to go meet Han. And then Vader walks in and goes, here's Han. He's in carbonite. Boom. And then they reveal carbonite. And then Boba Fett walks in. Says, I'm
Genius.
taking him to the ship. It's all costume
Yeah.
and carbonite. There's no actual actors there. Everything can be recorded anyway. You're left stunned because Vader just crashed your party and Han's in carbonite. Real,
Andy, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Legit question. How much would you pay Disney, message me, Jackson Houchins,
TM.
for your own carbonite, your face in carbonite with like how Han does his thing, like your face like in a whole thing that you could hang on your wall, with your face like looking, yeah, all weird with your hands.
If I was single, like $1,000.
Yeah,
I'm married, so that would never happen.
So I'm married, so
That's
5,000.
not gonna. Yeah. 500. I'll need the rest for the divorce attorney.
well, and I think this part got cut off earlier. Like and this was a good point that I really wanted to make is like I'm not a big character experience guy. Right, this got cut off me.
I think so.
And as an almost 50-year-old man, like I would pay a ton of money to go and have a character experience with a Star Wars character.
Right.
I had a big rambling thing about this, like how, I understand how kids like it and how Disney adults like it. It's not my thing. But for a Star Wars character, like I'm all about it. So I think that they're missing a golden opportunity for like a fine and I don't think it'd have to be a super fine dining.
No,
It would have just
you're still going to be in shorts and
just
t-shirts.
even a sit down, just a sit down place. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And like you think about a Galaxy's Edge type place, like that's the challenge Disney is always going to have. Is you're never going to truly, and I think I'll get into this question in one of the later questions I'm going to ask, but like Disney's always going to have the trouble of it feeling like a theme park, because to truly be immersed in Batuu or in Tatooine or wherever they build it, you're going to have people dressed like they're there. Me in my shorts and Mickey Mouse t-shirt is never going to look like they belong. So how do you take the immersion of something like Batuu and make you feel not out of place because you're in a Mickey Mouse t-shirt when you're in space?
Well, and they tried that with Galactic Star Cruiser. Like part of the pull of that hotel was in the gift shop, you could buy full Jedi robes, full anything you wanted to immerse yourself even that much further into the experience. I think they have that in some of the gift shops in Batuu as it is.
Back up. They had full Jedi robes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I purchased a tunic there. I already had a robe. That's
I have some calls to make.
Should I book
and
the
I
trip
think
now?
one of the easy answers would be to again add more stormtroopers. If they were
Right.
stopping all the people that had the lightsabers on their backs, I know everybody that's been there has seen that, with the cases and the bags. If there were stormtroopers stopping and checking those, and asking, I think there'd be a lot to that to make you feel like you're immersed, because now you're suspicious, you're carrying on a lightsaber,
Right.
you shouldn't be, that kind of thing. It's not like you're wearing a Mickey shirt, so
Right.
I get it, but like more of that interaction, I
Right.
think would be an easy way to.
It comes down to cast members.
Right, and again, if you had the Jawas there pitching their,
Yep.
peddling their wares, if you will, and they had kiosk of Disney stuff and they're selling it, it just helps wrap it all
Yeah.
in. I don't know.
One of the most immersed moments we had was when we were getting like PhotoPass photographer taking our picture and started asking about the character that was on my hat. I was wearing a Nike hat with Mickey on it. And I'm like, "Oh, that's Mickey. Who's Mickey?" Like the cast member totally was like, "You're a tourist here, obviously. So I have no clue who's on your
That's
hat, who's on
impressive,
your
yeah.
shirt." And like we had a 5-minute conversation with me trying to figure out how to convince this guy that I was supposed to be there.
Sure.
And that brought you into that immersion,
Well done.
even though you were in a Mickey shirt
Yeah.
in Florida. You were now, you're really in Batuu, because they have no clue. Like, where the F did you come
Disney
from?
magic
right.
that you got. Yeah, that
Right.
You guys have explained on your podcast many, many times. Yeah.
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 It's crazy. Okay. So, quick lightning fire round. Best snack or drink in Galaxy's Edge?
Blue milk.
Just blue milk?
Just blue milk.
Okay.
Blue milk and rum,
Yes. The green milk is what they put the tequila in, right?
Yes.
And blue milk is what
which is fine. It's not bad, but blue milk wins.
And blue milk is more fruity. Green milk is more floral.
Yes.
You're looking at me like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
crazy.
I concur. The blue milk was good. It was flavorful and it was good. The green milk tasted like I mowed the lawn and then tried to drink some milk or something. So yeah,
Lawn
blue milk is where it's at.
It was a bad choice.
Milk is a bad choice. Milk in Florida, drink it quick.
right.
That's regardless of where you're at.
Right.
Fair.
Oh, goodness
Yoy.
gracious. Okay, most useless souvenir in Galaxy's Edge.
Cat Saka's Outpost popcorn mix.
Again, you said that one earlier. Is it a souvenir?
If you take it home, yes, it's a souvenir.
You take the popcorn home. It's a souvenir.
I said this last time. You pawned it off on me. You sons of guns.
Thought you liked it.
I would say again the X-wing helmet. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know where you would wear that. It's going to sit on a shelf. Again, no hate. I love Star Wars. I would look at them too. I bought a lightsaber so I could whack and have start lightsaber fights. So,
and like I said before, our first fight, because I tried it on, and it was my Facebook profile for a long time. I wish I had bought it, but I would wear it.
Well, we're going back, so you can buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could wear it for adult stuff. That's right.
Jackson.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Val. I'm still in Scott's because Scott went before me on the time before. Mine was the droid. Yeah, I don't get. What do you do with it? You don't do anything with it. It just sits there.
And my thing is, it's the mini droid. Like you go build this droid, and you're building R2D2, but he's only 6 inches tall.
right. You could.
That's not R2D2.
That a mouse droid,
Right.
like you see running around the Death Star all the time.
He's only 6 inches tall.
Yes. This is not a video podcast, so just know we're demonstrating a man's 6 inches. That's
to the actual 6 inches.
right.
My sister-in-laws know exactly what I'm saying right now. Shout out Jenny and Liz.
That sounds terrible on a podcast.
I disagree. Our second fight.
Good Lord. Okay. So the other thing that I think, I almost said this, but then just a minute ago you said you bought one, like a Jedi robe. What do you do with that other than adult
Tell
times?
us more about the. Yeah.
Okay, so that's true. That's I guess that's a souvenir.
You better hit,
Yep.
hit that kid.
It currently sits in a nice folded pile in a tub that has a Jedi cloak as well. It's kind of pointless, I guess.
Yeah.
I did buy the tunic there at Black Spire. I bought the lightsaber at Disney Springs.
Okay. Kind of last question. So none of us have done the lightsaber building experience, right? Is that something you want to do?
Not really.
No.
No.
I just some things you need to say in the movies. You know what I'm saying by that? Like, I get the experience. I think it's fun for kids. Like, for me, it's like that's a thing that like it has folklore to it. So like let's let fantasy be fantasy. Like to build it, I'm like, okay, like I don't need it. I'm not gonna whatever.
Not gonna. What is it?
I don't judge
Clyburn-
anybody who has one.
Kyburn crystal.
Yeah.
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 And
I think it's neat. I think it's a neat thing. I think I would watch someone else do it. It's not for me. No.
And for those considering it, I talked to a family before they went, and I sent them a link. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there of people building them and showing the workshop, and they were all set on their 3 kids making these lightsabers. And I said, hey, just because they're pretty little, I said, just be aware. You've seen the lightsaber I bought there at Disney is one of the, from a Jedi Master. The ones that you build are quite a bit bigger and kind of clunkier because you have all these parts that you're putting in, whatever else, and it's 21st century America, not Star Wars fantasy. They saw the video and they ended up thanking me afterwards, and they ended up just buying lightsabers from the movies because the building them, they're bigger than like kids can actually hold and grasp and play with, and
Right.
then also there's that whole lighting it up sequence and things that are just not part of the canon. Just something for those listeners to be aware
Right.
of if they're considering building one. Maybe
It's a
go
good-
look at it on YouTube. If
Yeah.
you build it, great, cool, it's your own.
But not for
Something
you.
I wanted.
Yeah. Is Batuu a love letter or a missed opportunity to the Star Wars universe?
Yes.
Both. Tell us more.
So I think having it there in the first place is sort of an homage to we're in this franchise now and we're going to embrace it as much as possible. But I also think that they missed a lot of opportunity to pull in some of the people that are truly spending money with the franchise because they don't touch enough on the nostalgia of the original 3 films.
Yeah. We talked about a lot about that before I realized that I forgot to hit record.
did.
Andy brought that up of
And you
like,
did hit record.
I did, yes. I just looked down again to make sure I'm recording. The people that are actually spending money don't want to see Kylo Ren and Rey.
Correct.
They want to see Princess Leia. They want to see Han. They
They
want
might
to
want
see
to
Darth
see Ray.
Vader.
They might want to see Ray.
Well, yeah.
Stormtroopers
Yeah.
that we are familiar with.
Yes.
Right.
That couldn't hit the broadside
Yeah.
of a barn.
Exactly. Bad aim.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, if they had good aim, we wouldn't be here.
Right. Okay.
I say love letter. I think that it has room to grow. I had again, and I not trying to bolster you guys, but I had such a good time there with you guys and my partner and my sisters-in-law. Yeah, we had such a great trip, and yeah, it just I thought it was fantastic. I had zero, like I said earlier, I had 0 notes on it, so super fun time. Yeah, there's things they could do, yes, but yeah, I'd say love letter.
Yeah, Andy.
Yeah. Again, I think Candice hit the mark. It's a love letter for sure, but also in the same stride. I think again, the people spending money there that are booking the trips there and buying all the souvenirs, they grew up with 4, 5, and 6. They probably like 1, 2, and 3. They might not like 1, 2, and 3, whatever. But 7, 8, 9 are a rough push for Disney right now.
Right. Yeah, agreed. I think it's a love letter with room for improvement. And we said this quite a bit when we recorded before I hit record. TM, the Cloud City idea is a fantastic one. I think any way that they can build opportunity to bring in more characters would be welcome. They
But
did
the right
Wasn't that my
characters.
idea originally?
maybe TM, whatever.
Kidding.
It
I'm
could be
kidding.
Jackson's idea as long as he brings us along. That's my thing with Galaxy's Edge is they did it so well. It's so immersive. So it Star Wars fans have to love it. You go there, you see things that you recognize, you love the Millennium Falcon. They did so much right. I don't want to knock what they did, but little things that don't cost too much money would make it just that much better.
But I mean, you can say that about a lot of things.
True.
Right. And, there's always room for improvement. I don't know. But I think they did a great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Disney, for letting us drink blue milk while staring at the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
100%. Yeah.
And blue milk with alcohol.
Right. Yes.
Hashtag alcoholic.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So that wraps up our theme park episode of Star Wars. We have one more of these we're going to record tonight, and I will remember to hit record. Even if we take a break in the middle and I need to remember to hit record again, I will remember this time. But remember, even in all of life's little foibles, there is always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And we'll see you real soon.